Thanks for listening to the Good Enough Wellness Podcast. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Emily.
And we're passionate about holistic wellness that real people with real lives can achieve.
We see you out there striving for perfection, but we want you to know that good enough can be good enough.
Before we get started, everything we talk about in this show is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Always talk to your healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, lifestyle, medication, or supplements. You're listening to episode number 14, Our Favorite Resources, Nutrition Instagram Edition. In this episode, we'll be discussing 5 of our favorite Instagram accounts to follow for bite-sized nutrition information.
But first, don't forget about our brand new Patreon community. It's free to join and will be the home of our show notes, discussions, and hopefully some bonus content to come. It's a great way to get involved and show us support. We can't wait to see you over there.
So, Emily, what have you been nerding out about this week?
So last week, we talked about comfort crisis. So in true Emily fashion, I threw a medicine ball in my backpack and ran errands with a heavy backpack.
Yeah.
Because this is perfect timing for me. I'm really excited to explore. It's called rucking. Mm-hmm. And it's basically just carrying weight with you as most people go for like a hike or something, but I'm really struggling to stack my life in a way to fit in extra movement and fitness and stuff. It's not a good season for me.
Right.
I'm just really busy. I'm really busy. I don't have a lot of extra time or resources or energy really. And this was like a really cool experiment to see how that would go. It wasn't like a ton of weight. I think I had like an 8-pound medicine ball in a diaper bag. So you mamas know that's already heavy. But I just ran my normal errands and I liked it. Didn't feel hard at the time. But then that evening I was like, oh, hey, my feet hurt a little bit. Like, oh, hey, my butt hurts a little bit. And I will say, if this is something you're going to try, approach with caution. Like, my pelvic floor was a little sad after that. I've struggled with pelvic floor issues. I've had 5 kids. I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
But just being kind to myself and being like, okay, we're going to put our feet up a little bit today and take it easy. And then hopefully I don't want to throw it all out. I want to maybe keep experimenting with it because this could be a great answer to something that I've been lacking. And it would like low barrier to entry. I like it.
Yeah.
How about you? What are you nerding out over?
So I recently started a book called Countdown, and I cannot remember the name of the author off the top of my head, so I'll put that in the show notes. But it is a book about the decline of sperm and the real-life implications for what that could mean for our population. And it talks a lot about the components of why sperm is declining so rapidly. And it can feel really overwhelming or a little like alarmist, but there is some like practical tips. And I think it's important that we not bury our heads in the sand and completely ignore these kinds of issues. Like, it's really important to be aware of them so that way we can address them before they become, The Handmaid's Tale or something like that.
Yeah, seriously though. What a fascinating book. I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah, it's been very good so far. I haven't finished it yet, but been very, very good.
Very cool.
Just a quick break to tell you all that on November 2nd, 2024, that's in a couple weeks if you're in the Erie, PA area, I'm helping to host a Christian Wellness Workshop Day at the Green Township Municipal Building. It's going to be a great time of community and fellowship and learning how to honor God with our wellness. If you're interested, you can email me at hello@kaylakingwellness.com. You can find me on Instagram and reach out to me there. Or there will be a link to the website in the show notes where you can check out our roster of speakers and buy tickets. Now back to the show.
So we compiled a list of we literally just scrolled down through our feeds like, oh, who do we follow on here that other people should follow too? I think a lot of our jumping off points of getting interested in this particular facet of the wellness world came from Instagram. It's just a really great way to spread information and to connect with people. And I'm going to start the list off strong here with Jessica Ash.
We love Jessica.
Oh, we love Jessica Ash. A disclaimer, she's tough love, and she says it like it is, and we love that about her. But she's the one that I took her course. Like, she's the one when I was trying to get out of like some really destructive disordered eating patterns that I hung on her every word because I was just really in deep and I really needed somebody to hold my hand and, tell me like, it's okay to eat. In fact, you need to eat and here's why. And we just love her so much.
Yeah, I love Jessica Ash because she is sciencey and nerdy, but accessible.
Yes.
And I appreciate that. I am someone who enjoys the deep dive and enjoys learning like a little bit deeper, but she wasn't like so far over my head that I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And, just really great like practical application things. But she's recently started getting into some more spiritual content, so, she might not be for everybody, and that's okay. But I think her nutrition advice is sound, and she has a great approach to nutrition.
Yes, agreed.
So next on our list, we have the Real Food Gangstas, and this is a couple, and they do a lot of talking about how nutrition affects thyroid, adrenals, cortisol, and all from also a really no-nonsense perspective. Maybe that is the thread that we like.
I think it might be.
No-nonsense account.
I think it is. I know this about you, though.
Yeah. But they are all about real food. So they're not on the bandwagon for any supplements or powders or programs. They are just like, this is how you use real food to make a huge difference in your life.
We love that.
Yeah.
After them, we have the Hormone Healing RD, and I should have let you do this one because I actually don't know. I know I follow them, but I've cut back on Instagram a lot in recent months, so I don't know what they're up to these days. So why don't you go ahead?
So Amanda Montalvo runs Hormone Healing RD, and disclaimer, she's my Instagram crush, one of my Instagram crushes.
So make sure you at them when we post this episode, tag them, tag Kayla. Yeah. She would like to meet her and fangirl for a minute. Sorry, go on.
But I actually took her course, Master Your Minerals, and a very, very, very good course. I would highly recommend. And she is the queen of minerals. She understands all the ins and outs of minerals and the HTMA. Like, she is really, like, that is her life's work, is the HTMA, understanding minerals. And she does have, like, some more specific stuff to thyroid, because that's a big part of her journey. So if you're having any kind of thyroid concern, or you just want to learn more about minerals and hair testing, she is your gal. I love Amanda.
I love her by proxy. And I know you just said that she's the queen of minerals, but if she's the queen, then Muscles and Motherhood is the prime minister, because she is also
yes.
Right back up there with that nerdy, let's take a deep dive. But also, she is the queen of nerdy mineral memes, which is very niche, but highly recommend.
I'm here for them.
Yes, she's fantastic. I know she's a big fan of, I see her talk a lot about magnesium, a lot about potassium, but also understanding how all those minerals work together. So she's not just beating one drum. I do adore her.
And if you go to her account and you look at her highlights, she's got so many, and each one is chock full of excellent information. She is so whip smart and also hilarious.
Yes, she's fantastic. And bringing up the rear, last but not least, we have Homegrown Education, and we really like their content. But you need to understand they're coming at it from a very whole foods, real food approach, which we love. We do. And we love that they are trying to make it accessible to everybody. And they have a couple cookbooks. They have actually a curriculum for teaching kids about real food. But they might be your vibe, and that might be what you're looking for. Something that's a very completely whole food, real food approach. Do you have anything to add about them?
I think it's also really cool that they're a family.
Yes, I do love that.
So, like, you're seeing a lot of content geared toward, like, this is how we do real food as a family. And not just, like, this is how one person tweaks everything in their life. It's like, this is how we involve our children in making food decisions. This is like why we choose these foods. This is why it's important to teach our kids about real food. And I really enjoy them. I think my caveat would be like they can get a little biohacky with some things.
Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. And I think maybe that's because they're teaching children, so they're teaching a lot more black and white versus talking to an adult who's going to be like, well, the nuance. You know how we love nuance. But yes, they can get a little biohacking. But I think if that's your like hobby, I think that's a hobby for somebody, and that's cool. And I think some people are a little more like that scientific mind that's like, I'm going to experiment.
Yeah.
And that's cool too. Just proceed with caution, because
not everything they do is for you.
Yes. As with anything on the internet, I think that's just a good rule of thumb all across the board.
Yes.
So that's our favorite nutrition Instagram accounts, just these bite-sized information to kind of, we don't even use them. I'm not going to say they're for research. I'm going to say they're more for like piquing your curiosity.
Jumping off points.
Yeah, let's get curious about nutrition, about our bodies, and these are great places to start. There's hours upon hours of information for you to take in. So if you've taken in everything we've said, you might want to head over there and take in everything they've said and help round out your opinion and your viewpoint of things.
Right. Now, before you go, don't forget to join our free Patreon community. You can leave a rating or review on your favorite podcast player and share this podcast with your friends, family, and like-minded community. Let's get the word out.
Yeah, let's do it. So, Kayla, what's good this week?
So, what's good this week is I had the most insane craving for sausage gravy and biscuits. And so I made a sausage gravy with breakfast sausage, and I made a milk gravy with it. And I made biscuits, and maybe part of this craving is because I have never been able to make good biscuits in my life, and I finally found a good biscuit recipe that is like brutally simple and you can't mess it up, and I was like, I want to make those biscuits again because I actually can and I love them. So I had this craving, made sausage gravy and biscuits, and then last night for dinner, this is what I made, and I made some scrambled eggs to go with it, so it was delicious. And then this morning, I repurposed all that, but I did some dippy eggs on it instead.
Girl.
Oh my gosh, and it was so good.
You're putting that biscuit recipe on Patreon, right?
Yeah.
For sure. Awesome.
So, Emily, what's been good for you this week?
So this week, what's good is fall time.
Yes.
We were just having a discussion about this is our Hobbit era, our we live in Redwall and we're mice era.
Yes.
And I'm here for it. And this is why it's so good though, is historically speaking, I hate winter. And you know what comes before winter? Fall. So I would get very seasonal depression would start early because I had a bad attitude about it, and I was super like, it's gonna snow soon, it's a 4-letter word, like don't be that person, nobody likes that person. And over the years, my husband adores winter and he adores snow, so people would say, snow, and I was like, I love somebody who loves it, so I love it. And it was kind of this like, I'm telling myself how I'm going to feel about it. And sure enough, this year, it got the least bit chilly, and I was just like, oh, fall's coming. Yes. And I was like, chilly. Like, I got really excited about it.
Yeah.
And I think you are in charge of how you feel about things. And I think you are able to change how you feel about things. And our words and our actions can lead how we feel about things. So I'm telling you, if I understand why you might hate snow and why you might dislike fall because, well, snow is coming, but I think you can change the narrative.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Good Enough Wellness Podcast. To learn more about my one-on-one packages, join my mailing list and follow me on Instagram at Kayla King Wellness.
Don't forget to subscribe to our Good Enough Wellness podcast feed wherever you listen to podcasts. You don't want to miss an episode. Follow us on Instagram at Good Enough Wellness Podcast to learn about upcoming episodes, and join our free Patreon community to interact with the Good Enough community there.
The Good Enough Wellness Podcast, because good enough can be good enough.
Well, that's good enough for me.
Me too.